In the Labor of Love update, Relogic added quite a few new secret seeds to the game, including the one that nobody can seem to decide the name of. The Zenith seed, Everything seed, GetFixedBoi, Legendary mode, it goes by a lot of different names. Relogic themselves called it the magnum opus of Terraria world seeds, a whole new level of challenge. It combines every, and I do mean every, other secret seed in the game, and playing it on Master mode increases the difficulty to Legendary mode. This difficulty only exists on this seed, and it adds new changes to boss AI and behavior, and these are just a few of the changes that happen here. The Remix seed causes you to spawn in the underworld, and it flips the world gen upside down. The surface is this nightmarish hellscape filled with lava that does 200 damage per hit, and it has incredibly high spawn rates, and there are just permanent falling stars that insta-kill you. Half of the world is crimson, and the other half of it is corruption. The special traps from the No Trap seed, like the Life Crystal Boulder and the Bouncy Boulders, are present here as well, and there are just a lot of traps everywhere. And this seed takes the stats and the AI from For the Worthy, and then Legendary mode adds even more AI on top of that. This is For the Worthy Plus, and this seed is miles more difficult than For the Worthy. When I beat For the Worthy, I mentioned how the difficulty felt overhyped, and it wasn't actually that hard. This is not overhyped in difficulty. There are pockets of hive all over the world from Not the Bees, along with the burning crispy honey blocks filled with lava, and then queen bees larvae just spawn everywhere randomly, as do the breakable beehives. And then you have the food and starvation mechanics from the constant, and being in the dark will have Charlie kill you extremely quickly with no warning. And then you've also got the rainbow colors from Celebration Mark 10 and the NPCs, although they all die on the first night, and you've also got the underground dungeon, the granite and marble caves being swapped, both of the world evils being present, and a lot more from the drunk seed. Okay. And by the time of making this video, I have played this seed twice. Once the day it came out, I beat it after about 3 days. Okay. I don't want to trigger this trap because I don't know what this thing's going to do. I'm just going to have it fall down. Oh, fuck! Okay. That is what it does. Good to know. That is what it does. And the second time is this, and yes, the successful hardcore attempt was the first attempt. I do know a thing or two about not dying. So how the hell did I actually do this? Well, I started off with a large-sized world, and for anyone who doesn't know, the seed for this world is GetFixedBoi, with an I. I spawn in hell, but it's a nice hell. Lava slimes are the only enemies here, and they don't drop lava. Food is my first priority. If you're not on a hardcore character, you can just die to reset your hunger. I can't. I need a constant supply of food. I gotta eat. Also, I did not utilize save and quits to escape dangerous situations or to return to spawn. At all, at any point. I get in a situation like this, I have to find a way out of it. I get peppers and pomegranates from the ash trees and make a bunch of houses, killing some lava... Okay, getting the NPCs to kill some lava slimes. I sell some food to get enough money for a merchant, and then I wait for the next day for him to spawn. I really need arrows, torches, and rope before I can go anywhere. Once I get a good supply, I start breaking out of hell, which is extremely dangerous. Lava will instantly kill me, and touching crispy honey blocks, which are everywhere, has the same burning and slowing effect as meteorite and hellstone. I slowly and carefully drain the lava above me and place wood over the crispy honey blocks to traverse it safely. And slow and steady is the name of the game here, as I have to painstakingly examine every block for pressure plates and make sure that there aren't any enemies falling on my head. I get quite lucky and find the snow biome immediately. That means both a constant source of food and Shiverthorn for danger sense potions later. On top of all of this, I also need to be very cautious about lighting. Charlie will instantly kill me with no warning if I stay in the darkness for too long at my HP. And there's the first larva. If I summon Queen Bee, I die. Remember, I'm not using save and quits. I need to be certain that I'm safe, so I block off the larva and I build a house for the merchant. And now I get my favorite food in the game, marshmallows. I buy a bunch and I AFK roast them over a fire to keep me fed for pretty much the rest of the game. I keep making progress like this, getting life crystals and looting chests in the snow biome. There's no sand anywhere for bottles though, so I can't make danger sense potions quite yet. After a few hours, I've gotten up to 400 HP, I got a bunch of NPCs, money, and some basic equipment. I keep exploring in search of platinum armor and accessories, and even with 400 HP, most traps will still instantly kill me. With hardcore characters, you don't die from bosses, you don't die from normal enemies, you die from complacency. The moment you think to yourself that there's no risk, that it's safe to do something, is the moment that you die. That thought process leads to taking risks, and if you take enough risks, eventually one of them will get you killed. You'll notice a pattern in how I'm playing here. Everything that I'm doing is mitigating risks. I'm good at the game, I'm going to make very few mistakes, but I will make a mistake eventually, and everything that I'm doing is to make sure that when I do make that mistake, I don't die from it. That is how you walk up and first try a seed like this in hardcore. I managed to find a boomstick in the jungle, which is great because that unlocks the arms dealer in the mini shark. I make my way near the surface and get a jungle pylon down just beneath it, and then I keep exploring. And on the other hand, sometimes it's just pure dumb luck that keeps you alive. I saw the explosive trap. I went to break the explosive trap, and in doing so, I spawned a slime from a pot which immediately hit me and knocked me back onto the pressure plate. However, I had iframes from getting hit, so it didn't kill me. And that is not something I want to go through again. I buy a mini choke and I stop going anywhere near explosives. Bombs and dynamite, that's how we deal with them from here on out. I take out goblins with grenades, get some good reforges, and I can take the eye. I don't have to worry much about the reflected projectiles or the extra spawn since I've got more than enough defense to eat hits without worrying. And again, even when you think you've got everything covered, you're still in danger. You're always in danger, just everything is a threat. This chest was hooked up to a wraith statue, and I barely managed to get away alive. Complacency is a killer. I thought I was safe. No, you're never safe. I head to the underground desert to get a conch, chisel, boots, and bass statues along with some sand for potions, and then I set up a statue farm for sharks to get hunter potions. I spend quite a while farming herbs, statues, and fishing, which was likely not necessary, but I wanted to make sure this attempt succeeded. I finally make my way to the surface, and up here, evasion is the only good strategy, in my opinion. Spawn rates are way too high. Fighting just is not a good option. I dance around the enemies and find a pyramid with a flying carpet inside of it. And I now know that I could have shimmered the pharaoh stuff into a sandstorm in a bottle, but I trashed it because I didn't know at the time, and then I spent a ton of time later fishing one up, which was really annoying. Also, I immediately start building a sky bridge to block falling stars. Without this, it would be very dangerous on the surface, but with it, I can be confident that I'm not going to randomly get killed by falling stars. The brain is up next. I make an artificial crimson in the underworld and I skirt the boundaries to keep safe from the brain in phase 1. In phase 2, the brain flips gravity, which means platforms aren't really an option. However, he prioritizes teleporting in open spaces, so by having the filled-in ground underneath me, I can assure that he'll teleport above me. I kill him with the mini shark and I get to mining some hellstone. And now it's fish time. And it's slow. I have not done this much fishing in a long time, but I get some water walking boots, some obsidifish for some potions of return, some wet bombs, and a sandstorm in a bottle. And I get some red balloons too to make a bundle. I shimmer some items, and I get to building an arena for Skeletron. I go ahead and blow out a giant chunk of the ground next to the dungeon, and I flood the floor with lava. Since I have Terra Spark boots, I can use that lava safely. That will disable enemy spawns, and that lets me fill in the arena with walls so I can use platforms as well. I recall to a bed to get Skeletron out of the dungeon, and I get to killing him with a Molten Fury. Since I've disabled additional enemy spawns with my arena building, the fight is pretty easy. It would not be easy if I was getting swarmed with Chimera and Blood Crawlers. Skeletron does summon some Dark Casters, but they're not too dangerous. I go ahead and find a Cobalt Shield and a handgun in the dungeon, taking it slowly since it's quite dangerous here. And then I just do a ton of hard mode preparation. I build an arena for the Wall of Flesh out of sand to use Dune Rider boots. I go ahead and build a big arena for Medusa on the surface, also using sand and covering it in lava to disable enemy spawns. I make an arena for Plantera, and if you couldn't guess, I cover it in lava to disable enemy spawns. Don't discount how useful lava is for arena building and how useful Terra Sparks are for providing immunity to it. I also go ahead and build a farm for some life fruit and bulbs. Now, to kill the Wall of Flesh, I farm an imp statue a bunch of times to get banners to line the underworld. That will drastically reduce how deadly the imps that the Wall of Flesh summons are and make it much more reasonable to fight him without dying. That is why I'm taking so little damage during this fight on top of having a lot of defense. And with my trusty Phoenix Blaster on hand, I get to fighting the wall. His lasers do no damage to me thanks to my defense, his imps do no damage to me thanks to the banners, and it's just a matter of playing it safe and whittling him down. I did bring a Star Cannon though, okay, this is why I love the Phoenix Blaster. The Phoenix Blaster gets the job done. And I really don't want to deal with pirates, and I really don't care about spending time in-game either, so I go ahead and fish up the hard mode ores, which did take a very long time. Thankfully, I can shimmer titanium into adamantite, so it's not as bad, but it still takes quite a while. I get a full set of adamantite armor, farm some souls in the Brain of Cthulhu arena, kill some mimics for a dart rifle, and get ready for Medusa. If you didn't know, there's a secret boss in this seed, Medusa, and by secret boss, I mean it takes the 3 mech bosses and superglues them together, and you just have to fight all of them at once. It's not optional either, you have to do it this way. I get a Shadow Flame knife and some chain guillotines as well and get to killing. I knew what was coming, so I prepared all of this ahead of time. My arena spans about a third of the world and is lined with sand from top to bottom. I'm using Dune Rider since I can't get asphalt yet. I use the dart rifle with crystal darts to clean up the destroyer, and then the annoying thing about Medusa is just that it's a coward and it just despawns. Well, that does mean I could get hollowed armor, so it's not all bad, because each one you kill individually will drop its treasure bag. On the third try, I managed to keep it close enough to avoid having them despawn. The second time, I messed up and let Spasmatism get a little bit too close to me. Remember, the whole surface is low gravity, and it's not easy to get distance if Spasmatism is on top of you. especially since, I don't have wings either. The order I kill them in is Destroyer, Retinator, Spasmatism, Skeletron Prime. The Destroyer doesn't really do anything, so it's kind of a free kill, and Retinator is easier to deal with than Spasmatism first, in my opinion, in this fight, as long as you've got the defense to tank his laser shots. Prime should be killed last because he's the hinge that keeps the Destroyer and the Twins nerfed. If you kill Prime first, they go free and become their normal selves. I found Life Fruit with an enchanted sundial by sleeping in an area where nothing can spawn and skipping eclipses and blood moons, and this is another example of me being excessively risk averse. There's a 95% chance that I can mine in the jungle and get chlorophyte and Life Fruit and not die. But that also means that there is a non-zero chance that I die doing it. I don't care about spending time, I'm patient enough, so why take that risk? There's no benefit except for time, and I don't care about time. In hardcore, your time doesn't matter, your damage doesn't matter, your equipment doesn't matter. All that matters is that you don't die. I can't stress it enough. Since the Lizard Temple doesn't count as a jungle in the seed, I need to use activated jungle grass to make this count as a jungle. And it's Plantera time. I line the roof and floor with asphalt. Again, it really works. Try it. Gravitation potions to use the roof and the floor is a very effective strategy. I finally also get a pair of wings because moth. Now, Plantera spawns a bunch of thorns every time that she moves her hooks. She also has some projectile reflecting in phase 2. However, because I have a mountain of defense, the thorns deal virtually no damage, single digit most of the time. That means it's slow but safe, and I take her out with my Mega Shark. And I move straight on to Golem next. I hoik into the temple and recall home. Golem inflicts a permanent blackout debuff during the fight, but out here in the open, he's not as hard. But this is not going well. I tried using nano bullets, but the smoke bounce just is not hitting him, and it takes forever to deal damage, and the fists just weren't dying fast enough, and he despawned. Okay, well the Mega Shark just is not working. I can't hit him. I need to find something that packs a punch, something that... Pulse bow! I never see the pulse bow. Yeah, pulse bow. Unfortunately, even the pulse bow still can't hit Golem because of how tiny his hitbox is and the fact that he's basically invisible. Hunter potions don't work. He despawns again because I can't see him and I didn't know he was too far away and I had to stop for the day to think. I mean, this isn't working. I need something to let me see Golem, but he destroys torches so I can't light up the arena that way. But I did have an idea. I remembered that I used Gemspoke walls in the accessory damage only run and that they illuminated themselves. And upon mentioning this in my Discord server, I got a much better suggestion, which was illuminant coating. Thanks, Null, it would have taken a really long time to get enough gems for Gemspoke walls. Illuminant coating will cause the painted object to act as though it is fully lit even in the absence of light, even when inflicted with darkness and blackout. And that leads to Shadow Golem, who looks absolutely badass. The illuminant coating looks awesome, and more importantly, it lets me see exactly where he is and kill him. And now we get to the fun part. Farming tortoises. What's that? They increase the shell drop rate. 73 tortoises to get 3 shells. Well, it is worth it, because Beetle armor is absolutely unparalleled at this point in the game in survivability, and it's basically one-shot proof. If you have the 45% damage reduction, full HP, a life force potion, endurance potion, and a bunch of defense, there is virtually nothing in the game that can kill you in a single hit. Only stuff like the Empress of Light at daytime with the Dungeon Guardian on higher difficulties can kill you. Look, this is the Moonlord's Phantasmal Death Ray, and it hits for like 150 damage. I love Beetle Shell, it's awesome. I don't bother with Fish Run of the Empress. The Empress can't be fought outside of daytime on the siege, she just leaves, and low-gravity Fish Run is not something I have practiced doing, and is not something I feel very confident doing. So I do the Cultist. The Pulse Bow isn't too strong, but the Cultist does very little damage, and I take him out for a very nice dinner at the Cheesecake Factory. He never did text me back, though. The Vortex Pillar is the first one that I kill, and this is how you deal with the pillars safely. The Vortex Pillar, you pull out a single alien hornet or queen, and then you farm it 100 times. Queens drop larvae that grow into more hornets, and then more queens, and being outside of the range of the pillar stops more of them from spawning. I have to use Potions of Return to get close to the pillar, but I get my Phantasm in the end. The Stardust Pillar, you do a similar thing, and you pull away Stardust cells, you farm them, then you kill the pillar. The Solar Pillar is actually easier in this seed than it is in a normal seed. The pillar being underground means that most of the enemies are homeless. Really, it's only the Chorites that can get to you, and the Chorites were nerfed as well. I use the dragon to take out the solar enemies, and then I go ahead and kill the pillar. And the Nebula Pillar, there's no easy strat that I know of for the Nebula Pillar. Just go in and out of the range of the pillar, take a couple enemies with you at a time so you don't get swarmed. Before I finish off the Nebula Pillar, though, I get my Moonlord Arena fully prepped. I extend the Sky Bridge to cover the entire world, and I make a new floor out of asphalt, and then I cover that one in lava as well. I set up a box to trap the boulders that he shoots, I keep the nurse handy, although I never had to use her, and I get some Hout statues set up. I finish off the Nebula Pillar, and now we get to work. The Moonlord has one special attack in Legendary mode, and it is very dangerous. Immediately after his death ray, he shoots out a huge spread of fast, bouncing Moonlord boulders that deal a ton of damage. However, a boulder is a boulder, and a boulder can't go through blocks. I use recalls to bring the Moonlord into an enclosed area so that all of his boulders get trapped and they can't hit me. Then I teleport out, I use asphalt because I don't have a truffle or an insignia, and I kill him with my phantasm. My damage is bad, very bad. In fact, I have no damage buffs at all from armor or accessories. I don't even have wrath or rage potions, but that doesn't matter. Like I said, if you don't die, then the boss will. Solve the issue of not dying and you can kill anything that doesn't have a time limit. And that is Legendary Mode. To my knowledge, this is the first time that this has ever been done. The update only came out, like 10 days ago, 12 days ago. And if you don't believe me, here is the evidence. Firstly, every second of this is recorded and linked in a playlist in the description. Go watch it. There's a 10-minute period after the first recording where I briefly lost power, and that led to a small amount of progress loss and recording issues. There was, a hurricane. But other than that, everything is fine there. At the end of the game, I open my players and world folders to show that the character and world files are the ones created on October 1st, meaning that it is not a backup. If I restored it from the recycle bin, there would have been strangeness with progress loss and some map data would have been lost. The all death command in chat showed no deaths after I killed the Moonlord, and I do have quite a history of doing very difficult things like this, and I certainly haven't cheated in any of those. I'm also going to upload the character file and world to my Discord server. You can download them and look at them yourself if you still don't believe me. There's really not much more I can do to provide evidence on top of all of that. I didn't stream this because it took 42 hours and it was a lot of boring farming, and when I stream there's a pressure to do things fast instead of safely, and that probably would have led to me dying. I mean, when I did hardcore for the Worthy on stream, I died to the Nebula Pillar because I was reading chat. I wasn't even paying attention. I had to stay silent and stop reading chat in the Moonlord's second phase when I was killing him with a copper short sword. I wasn't going to do something like that again. I hate doing that. I hate streaming and not being able to read chat or interact with people. So of course I'm not going to stream something like this because either I wouldn't succeed or it'd be a miserable watching experience. But after all of this, what are my thoughts on this seed? It's miserable. Don't play it. It kind of sucks. It's not fun. I probably won't play it again. It's just unfair, and I didn't find it super rewarding or satisfying. I mean, it was fun to explore for the first time. It was fun to do in hardcore, but I am sufficiently satisfied with this seed now. I doubt that I'll play it again, at least not anytime soon.